maybe this Chris Trapezzo, I'll give him credit here, of CBS, he's got Will Levis going number 1 overall in the next NFL draft to the Houston Texans. Hell, if Will Levis improves his stock so much between now and the end of the football season, Kentucky had to have won the East. You know what I mean? I cannot imagine we're sitting here saying they finished second in the East again, but their quarterback's the number 1 prospect in the NFL draft. I ain't buying that. So here's what Trapezzo here had to say. Not a ton of insight into his pick, but Will Levis feels like a quarterback who can eventually be the number 1 overall pick. He's big, chiseled, has a rocket arm, and can scramble. The Texans will probably be in the quarterback market in a big way next offseason. Again, he's got Will Levis being drafted number 1 overall by the Houston Texans. And I'm not trying to, Cousin Holly's going to kill me on this one, but I'm not trying to temper expectations for your season, Kentucky, but here, I think we're getting out of control with these Will Levis hype. We had Mike Morgan on the show, said maybe he's the second best quarterback in the SEC behind Bryce Young, and hearing first round projection for Will Levis. I can buy that. First overall, I can't buy that based on what we've seen. Now, you could make the same argument. Joe Burrow, he had no business being the number 1 overall pick after his first year at LSU. I think, if memory serves, he had a draft grade free agent going into his last season at LSU. We know the magic they captured down there in Baton Rouge, won the Heisman, won the national championship. He's one of probably the best, 5 quarterbacks in the NFL right now. Joe Burrow is legit. Will Levis, maybe he makes that jump, and maybe he will be number 1 overall pick. But it's very hard to just predict that to happen because we've literally only seen it about once with and Joe Burrow, and maybe he can even go back to Kyler Murray making that big jump. But yeah, again, Will Levis, to me, I think he's more of a second round quarterback at this point in time. He's got the tools based on everything we're hearing to be a first round pick. He's going to have to take his game to the next level. He's going to have to do it without Wan'Dale Robinson. But this is why Mark Stoops bring in an NFL offensive coordinator to continue to groom Will Levis and to continue the progression of that Kentucky offense. I just don't want to get to a point in time where Will Levis has a rough week 2 game against Florida and all of a sudden he's trash, he's terrible. This is the guy they were picking to go number 1 overall. At this point in time last offseason, people were picking Emory Jones to be a first-round pick. He's now at Arizona State, I think. So, I don't put a ton of stock into this kind of talk, particularly first overall player in the draft. I think that's a little crazy, but hey, feel free to prove me wrong, Will Levis, this offseason. And speaking of Kenny Pickett, that was another point. Sorry, I meant to say this with Will Levis. Look at who just went in the draft here. We had Kenny Pickett, just mentioned it. I think he was the 22nd overall player in the NFL draft. No second round picks at the quarterback position. The next quarterback was in the 3rd round. Now, I know Will Levis got some NIL opportunities. That was probably factored heavily in his decision to come back to Kentucky for one more season. But if he was getting graded as a first-round quarterback by NFL scouts, why in the hell would he not have come out already, considering the draft class? Well, we've got Bryce Young likely to come out. We've got C.J. Stroud from Ohio State. We've got Hendon Hooker. We've got K.J. Jefferson. There's going to be a lot better quarterbacks in this upcoming draft than there was in the one we just had, where we had one quarterback taken in the top 2 rounds of the NFL draft. Again, that kind of backs up what I'm saying. Will Levis, not really as highly regarded as that CBS article is making him out to be. If the vast majority of NFL teams are looking at Will Levis as the number 1 overall pick in the upcoming draft, I think he would have already came out. Because based on this draft class of quarterbacks, he had to have been a first-round pick. Yet, I don't know. So that's a little sidebar.